Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Patty Lindgren from the Wild and Salty Healing Company. I feel like I'm really coming of age these days, and I'm ready to start my big outward face to the world. And so I'm going to start reporting. I think I'll call this the Big Medicine Report. I'm going to start reporting more regularly. Well, regularly at all. I have hardly been doing anything online for quite a while, many years. It's amazing how long the learning curve is and the gestation. And I used to feel very chatty, and then I stopped feeling chatty, and now I'm feeling chatty again. But I think it's a much better kind than previously while I was still working out personal stuff. I feel pretty good now. Years ago, 20 years ago, in fact, almost to this day, my mom passed away, and my dad had already left 9 years before. And I made my way to Fort Capel, where she still had some banking and where I'd grown up, to finish off and visit the lawyer to finish off the estate work. And it was our first trip as a family. My son was 16, my daughter would have been 11. It was our first trip as a family to Fort Capel since Mom had passed away. And my son, 16 years old, and my daughter went to the dollar store, which their grandma had always used to give them money, and they would walk downtown. And they were city kids, so being able to walk around town was a big deal. They would go to the dollar store, and they'd spend almost everything that Mom gave them on stuff for her, and then bring it back and gift it to her. It was so cute. It was a great ritual. They loved it. So I gave them some money to go to the dollar store, and away they went. And my son came back with a coaster that said love on it. And he handed it to me, and he said, "You're the grandma now." And so years later, in grief rituals, I learned from my guide, Randy Jones, that what my son was doing was acting as an elder under temporary commission, and he was handing me my next assignment. So that was 20 years ago. It wasn't not all that long after, because I guess I had started my reflection on elderhood and eldership, and I was still working in the mainframe in Saskatoon, and I was getting to the point where I wasn't going to be able to do it anymore. And I was unraveling, and I was a mess. And I was driving down 20th Street one day because my workplace was down by St. Paul's Hospital, if you know the area. And back in those days, 20th Street hadn't been gentrified yet. And there was just so much strife on the streets. So many people troubled at the level of the soul, and just, not really not knowing who they were, not having purpose, and succumbing to addictions and welfare. And many of them First Nations people, most of them. And I worked in the area, so I saw it every day. And I also saw the beauty. I met so many good people, and Jackie Jensen was doing great things with Twig and Squirrel's Wild Goods and creating kind of a grounding spiral in the community that was just starting to, wait a minute, I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't think she was there yet, but she would have been one of the first remedies to the street, real remedies, not the gentrification kind, but the soul remedy kind. Anyway, I was distraught, and I pulled over on the side of the road, and I thought, where are the elders? And I cried. I cried hard. I had so much grief. And it was then that I realized that, you know, what you see is missing is yours to bring. I was in my mid-40s, and I wasn't an elder yet, but I knew the phase was coming. And the only elders I knew were elders who knew how to work in the system by the system's standards of value and success. So I had a really big cry. And actually that that was the beginning of several years of big, huge grief while I called my heartbreaks and my confusions and all that kind of stuff. And if you'd have told me it was going to take me 20 years to feel like this, where I actually was like comfortable in my own skin and good with my own voice and not particularly interested in humoring baloney anymore, just saying it like it is. I didn't think it would take me 20 years to get here, but it has taken 20 years to get here because this is life, you know? We used to say, well, a colleague of mine used to say when I was working in consulting with nonprofit organizations who didn't want to do their planning or policy work, that because it was such a big project, but it's not a project, it is the work. So yeah, me coming of age into eldership, you can be elder without, or you can be older without being elder. Move into elderhood without becoming a purveyor of eldership. Well, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, so here I am. So it's July 8th, 2026, and I just want to review some of the principles that are the basis for what I work in, and as a bit of an introduction that you can come back to. There's two operating names I go by in the business world, but I'm not a businesswoman. I'm a medicine woman. Everything I do is about witnessing, reflecting, discerning, and sharing my frequencies of both knowledge and intuition and instinct and creativity, love, sharing those back, whatever the situation. So my overall moniker for what I am and do is Wild and Salty Healing Company. So the wild, you know, is pointing to nature. Salty is pointing to how salt is so very important for us in our bodies and how it hurts sometimes, like if you put it on a wound, it heals. And we often use salty for somebody who says things that disrupt the status quo for people and disturb them a bit, and I am certainly salty. I say that I'm barefoot social working, which means that I'm concerned about the health of society. That means all the people and animals and plants and the air and the soil and the water, the whole community. And social means that I am a social person. I'm a social being. And I'm not out there, I'm being sociable. I'm not out there yelling and screaming and complaining and criticizing. I'm actually bringing love and discernment and wisdom, reflection, witnessing, all that kind of stuff everywhere I go. And working means that this is my livelihood contribution. This is my vocation, and I'm contributing it in livelihood. And it also means that it works, that it doesn't fall flat like so many of our mainstream approaches to personal and community health do, and oftentimes they don't just fall flat, they actually cause more harm. And I consider all of this to be coming from a fountain of natural intelligence with a layer of village intelligence on top of that. And if you don't get what that means, you will as I talk more over time. Right now, the astrology is pretty amazing for these times. I don't know if you're feeling it or not. I'm sure feeling it. Things have changed. Something's changed in the underneath. And we have tipped over energetically and spiritually to the positive side. And it doesn't look like it yet, but there's a lot of people like me and maybe you who have been working on themselves for a very long time. And we're, in my opinion, the astrology, the sky clock, that dictates every experience we're going to have. It says what creation has in mind for right now. Every planet has a particular influence, all their positions create conditions, and we live those conditions, aware of them or not, based on our unique design as a human being. And so I'm pretty clear. I don't have a lot of inner clutter. And I'm very present in the moment. I spend a lot of time outdoors, a lot of time barefoot, a lot of time in Little Manitou Lake. So I feel like I've got a pretty pure feeling there. Certainly there's people who can do it better than me, but so if you're feeling down, don't. We're changing this, and all you have, the positive flow is here. All you got to do is step on. And what does that mean? Work on opening your heart, work on articulating your authentic voice, be what you want to be, do what you want to do, be here now in the moment, and just be cognizant of whether what you're doing is creating more good or if it's creating harm. So if you're angry and you're spewing anger, or you feel like a victim and you're spewing victimhood, if you're judgmental, if you've got grudges, you've got all that old unfinished business, and that's what you're carrying around in your power center and in your heart, and that's what you're speaking, then that's what you're creating in the world. So you need to choose instead, unless of course you like it that way, and you want to be here as creative tension for the rest of us, you can choose to be quiet and be a witness to your own inner voice and stop blaming and judging yourself. First and foremost, you're good. Whoever you were born as, that unique being you were born as, perfect. That's how creation made you and what you were meant to be. And these are the times for us to come together like that, in that spirit, and create from the natural human. We've got, no need to be scared of AI. It's been here forever, just in different formats. Artificial thinking, artificial technology. We are the natural thinkers. We are the natural technology. So all we have to do is be ourselves in order to and work together for the positive, for everybody, to make all of this stuff that's coming to light that's so disturbing, it'll all just evaporate. That is what the sky clock has in mind. That's who we're meant to be right now. So, in the more practical note, I've got my healing studio open for the season at Little Manitou Art Gallery. And primarily in the healing studio, what I do is personal sessions where you come for TLC. So you lay on the table, and I work on you for at least an hour, or work with you for at least an hour. And the intention is that we're going to help reboot your self-healing frequencies, your connection to Source and Earth, and your ability to heal anything in any one of your bodies. I use a combination of just a loving welcome. I pull a few runes before you get there and ask where you've been, where you are now, and where you're going. And then we just have that there. You don't even know about it really till it's over. And then we look at it when the session's over. You set your intentions for what you'd like to be different because we're having this session. And I put my intent with yours. I rock you. I rub your feet, rub your hands, rub your head. I will also work on any real sore parts in your body if you've got them. I use a rattle. Rattle releases stuck energy. I use owl wings to constantly clear your field. I use my drum. And I use flower essence remedies that I make myself from blooms that I get from here around Little Manitou. Everybody gets an aspen and arnica blend to begin, which really works on the nervous system. Arnica to me just feels like I'm dropping love under my tongue. It opens my heart and gets all of my energy going. It lifts out trauma, and there's no spiritual crisis that comes with it. It just eats it. And aspen works for fears. So those two remedies at the beginning of the session calm you. I guide you to go in through your ears because that's where your glands are, is in your head that are most important. Your third eye and your crown, and the pituitary gland and the pineal gland. So if you go in through your ears, we activate those right away. And then I also have solfeggio tracks, high quality solfeggio tracks that I play during the session. And I finish you off with a drumming over your whole body. So it's pretty incredible. People usually go on a journey of some kind, a soul journey of some kind. And oftentimes people have quite significant improvements in physical malaise. You can come once and you'll just sort of get a reboot. People will often say, I recognize that my life changed that day. Or you can come for a few times and work through something long-standing. So that's what I'm doing in the healing studio. And this year I'm also adding Spiral Camp. And I'm a little bit late getting going on things because of my community service, which I'll talk about a little bit here too. But Spiral Camp will be a mix of little mini workshops. I have one designed called Shifting Shapes that works with five of the shapes out of sacred geometry and helps you get a sense of what you're working on right now and what you might be experiencing. That's a morning group session, not necessarily morning, a group session. And then I also have a solfeggio meditation where we use the high quality solfeggio tracks. We use paper, markers, crayons, and you're just called into the music, again, through your ears. And it's moving, so you dance, you just move your body to the tracks. And as you're doing that, each track is toning working with one of your chakras. Your movement is helping it to go out. You can go over whenever you get aha moments or whatever. You can go to the paper and the crayons and record them or draw them. You can do whatever you want. It lasts 49 minutes, and then there's a sharing circle at the end to talk about what we experienced. I'm also going to add follow me tours, so you can either follow me in your car and we'll take a drive around the lake and we'll stop at a few special lookouts and we'll just do a pilgrimage all the way around the lake. We're not right on the lake all the time. Quite often the roads are away from the lake and you can't see it, but we'll pop in to a few areas and just experience Little Manitou from a few different vantage points. And we will also visit the Big Rock, which is a monolithic rock that kind of defies imagination down at the other end, at the west end of the lake. I'll also do in the Follow Me, we'll also do a Wellington Wander, where we'll meet in the mouth of Wellington Park, and we will wander around the park. We'll get you to be thinking about a few questions and to be noticing what's there. I'll tell you a bit about the medicinal plants. You can take a walk around the labyrinth. You can spend time with the creek. And once again, we'll have a circle at the end to just talk about what we experienced. I'm also looking at doing campfire chats, and those campfire chats will be around a question that is timely, and I'll be holding the space in a village intelligence way there. My community service, I mentioned that. So I'm chair of the rec board here. I've been doing it for about a year. And what I found was, in my work, natural and village intelligence work, and the TITLI way work, which I'll introduce before I say goodbye, I just found there was, like, modernity's here, one timeline, natural and village intelligence timelines over here, and they're getting closer together, but it's been very challenging because they've been a little bit too farther apart. People have no concept of what's over, many people have no concept of what's over here, and so a call to participate doesn't make a lot of sense. But as time goes on, those timelines come closer together, and we're getting there now. But what I've been doing for the last year and a bit is fulfilling a position over here, the rec board chair, and doing it from this. And then that way I can just show up and I can be this in this space. And it's a voluntary organization. It's been looking after recreation activities around here for more than 40 years. It started off grassroots, and then in the 80s, there started to be some funding, and so it became more formalized. But it's been this it's been this mix of what our elder in the group calls free-range chickens doing their thing, and then this more principled policy environment. The two don't always mix very well, and so I'm a big proponent for free-range chickening, and I also value certain elements of the mainstream structure. And after denouncing all public funding and whatnot back when I had my business as a nonprofit consultant and got so fed up with everything, I now feel like I'm in the frame of being where I can go in and use that system to serve the natural and village intelligent kind of free-range chicken world and bring some order to the chaos and put some chaos into the order and do it in a good way. So I've been really busy with the rec board stuff in general, but on July 1st we had Canada Day. It's kind of hilarious that I'm doing Canada Day because I stopped voting long time ago because I did not feel like I felt like my vote was an authorization of the system and giving away my power to a proxy who couldn't possibly represent me. So I haven't really been interested. And I haven't been particularly sad about Canada falling apart because frankly, it needed to. And what's very interesting is that right now we're getting to the point where I just think of Joni Mitchell, don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone. So as so many things about Canada slip away, a lot of people are awakening to, hey, let's get that baby back and not throw it out with the bathwater. People are realizing, as things get really dark, what's worth keeping and what's not. And so that's how I'm feeling about Canada Day. We had a great day. The weather was terrible leading up to it. It just poured rain here for days and days and days. We weren't sure it was going to happen. But the rain held off on Canada Day, and we started with a breakfast, and we had a parade and a market and entertainment on the main stage all day, and we ended up with a spectacular fireworks show. So it took everything I had to coordinate that day and do my rec board duties, which is why I'm a little behind on getting my seasonal stuff going. But man, it was so worth it. And but there's two things I would like to say that this practical co-creating experience with rec board is showing me very, very clearly. Mostly it's been great, but there's been a lot of, sort of scritchy relational things that sometimes have taken me out for days or weeks while I resolve them. And it's just got me recognizing two patterns that are really pronounced that come from our wounding and from skills we never got, perspective we never got. One of them is projection. I didn't know this myself. I did it for years. We get so self-absorbed that we think the way we see, the experience we're having, the way we feel, all that kind of stuff, it's too much. And we can't hold it, so we project it on other people. We don't live it forth. We don't live ourselves forth as a gift. We project ourselves with force into the world. So we're irritable. We might be outwardly angry. We judge. We blame. We think some people are spectacular. We put them on pedestals, not realizing that whatever it is that we admire about them is actually what we have inside. And rather than claim it and live it, we're making it about them. And the same goes for the dark stuff. Rather than claiming and living our own anger, our own grief, our own emotional state, our own judgments, our own blaming, we pin them on somebody else. So, and then when we have ideas, we want to times we'll use structures like the rec board or council, your community council, or even your job to force what you want on the world. And that's not how we're meant to be. We're meant to be what we are and live that forward as a gift, not push what we wish we had or were on other people. Really need to honor everybody. And right now it seems like a really challenging job because we haven't been in that space. And the people that you come up against are projecting back on you. But let me tell you, like most of these personality conflicts, they wouldn't be there if we weren't projecting ourselves on other people, if we weren't trying to control, if we weren't forcing ourselves on the world and on the people in our world. And like, please remember that if you have any issues with your parents in particular, but also teachers or any other people in positions of authority, and we're rebelling against that, we're angry, we feel hopeless or helpless or victimized or whatever, then when we have tough interactions with other people and we want to do a turf war, it's that wounding of our own. It's our own stuff that we're trying to make the other person be accountable for. And that other person who's with you, chances are pretty good they had nothing to do with your past. They're just there doing their thing. So if somebody's nasty to you, if somebody comes over your boundaries, then by all means, say something. If somebody betrays you, like really betrays you, does you wrong, then stand up for that. But really make sure that's what's going on before you go after somebody, because quite often it is the people who are really leading in the community who are taking the brunt of unfinished business. And it makes it a lot harder to lead when people are bringing all of their baggage to you and either dropping it at your feet or hitting you with it full force. So really, really, really speak with integrity. In the Four Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz says to be impeccable with your words. So before you use your words, think about it. Is this true? Is this good? Am I hurting somebody? Really think about it and only say what's really true, and don't use your words in a mean way. Discipline yourself and grow up, and then reap the rewards of being a more fulfilled soul, a better creator. It's all good when we take responsibility for that and stop projecting and just start being the core. Of course, not everybody's ready for this. I understand, but this message isn't necessarily for everybody. It's for those who are ready to grow up a little more. The other thing is competition. In one of my books, not that I wrote, but one that I looked to, I think it's The Fourfold Way, the author says that competing with other people is a sign that you don't believe in the value of your own medicine. I experience a lot of people competing in the co-creative space. We're not here to win. We're not here to force. We're here to be us. We don't need to compete. We just need to be ourselves. Because when I'm myself and you're yourself and she's herself and he's himself, and we're collaborating together without projecting on each other and without competing, the impact of that is an exponential burst of positive productivity and relationships. Love grows. Everything good grows. So competing, figure out who you are, love who you are, and be who you are. You don't need to prove anything, and there isn't a limited amount of turf. Okay, last thing. Some of you know, many of you don't, that I have, authored what amounts to a bunch of slides right now of maps. I have illustrated maps to natural and village intelligence. And then I have illustrated to a bigger level that I call the Turtle Island Transformational Leadership Initiative, which includes the natural intelligence core, the personal experience, builds into village intelligence, which is relationships and rites of passage and gatherings and that kind of thing. And then I've blown it up into Turtle Island Transformational Leadership Initiative, which then brings in a formula to be tested. It's not tested. It's not fully tested, that's for sure. We're here to do that work now, where we use a combination of circles and councils and projects, summits, and broadcasting, like getting public service announcements, that kind of thing, education, and festivals, and taking into account the members of the village, the men, the women, the youth, and the elders, and taking into account the 4 resources that are at the core of the natural intelligence teachings that I use, that are based on Angeles Arian's fourfold way. So using our power, using our vision, using our love, and using our wisdom to navigate our own lives and our lives in relationship with other, and our lives in relationship to the whole village. So I'm working this summer on turning those TITLI slides into a workbook that I hope to publish before the end of the year, maybe sooner. And you will be able to, anybody can buy this booklet and use it as a barefoot social working guide for working in their own community. And I'm also working in a collaboration with Becky Big Canoe, who lives in Lake Simcoe on an island in Ontario, and Becky's First Nations. And she has authored the Kinship Way, which is inspired by the ways of First Nations people, and is a way to bridge society in terms of the larger sectors of society, you know. So we have, you know, we have natural resources, we have governance, we have mining, we have manufacturing, we have agriculture, all the things, right? And so her Kinship Way is a way of people coming together in groups based on those sectors of society across all ages to learn from one another and to imagine how those sectors can be evolve, how they can evolve and adapt to modern times, so that we're creating together with good sense, open hearts, and a big connection to nature. And in both Becky's work and my work, with the Kinship Way and the TITLI Way, we are very cognitively based in land and water and nature as our regions and our natural intelligence guides. So the idea I've had for this, that Becky and I are starting to work on, is that we're going to gather some people who are really super interested in this and are willing to have, wanting to have high-level discussions and willing to take on some work to talk about how we can take these 2 ideas and turn them into a public service campaign where we're getting the information out, the teachings out readily to people, and giving people an opportunity to come and gather with the principles. And we will do this work first focusing on Canada, and second focusing on North America, which is also known as Turtle Island. And then also these principles can be applied on any landmass. And they were born here through Becky and I. They're coming through here through Becky and I, but they apply to every landmass. So it actually has international implications. So if you are interested in being part of our project council on that, we want to hear from you. Okay, that's it. Kept you for 40 minutes. Hopefully it was interesting. My name is Patty Lindgren. I live at ManitouBeach, Saskatchewan. I'm from the Wild and Salty Healing Company, and you can email me, Wild and Salty Healing Company at pm.me, or you can find me for now on Facebook. Yes, I'm a medicine woman, not a businesswoman. I look forward to connecting with people, heart to heart, center to center, genius to genius. Over and out. Have a great day.